Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Lovely day here, sun shining in the greenhouse, keeping it nice and warm, which stops the heater coming on, which is thankful. Just heard on the news that electricity prices are going up again, so that doesn't help the people who grow orchids. Anyhow, today I've got a couple of Draculas to repot. But I'll only do one because I'll be repotting them both exactly the same. And the one in front of you now is Dracula solii, the one that grows real monkey-like faces, and they're almost white flowers. Now, to tell you something about Draculas before I take this one out of its pot, is they can be quite a bit fussy about where you're going to put them, because the location you give them means a lot to them. I mean, they prefer, how shall I say, shady places and cool temperatures. Ideally, the highest temperature they should receive is about 20. This is to keep them in perfect condition, but we all know that sometimes in the greenhouses it'll shoot up to 24, 25. But as long as they're not standing them warmer temperatures for a long time, then they should be okay. And they like a minimum temperature around 10 centigrade or even below. And they call these plants monkey faces, because when you look at the blooms, they've got two little black spots in them, which, well, they look like eyes. And the shape of the face, sometimes they look really like monkeys. I think if you look at the solii, S-A-U-L-I, you'll know exactly what I mean. Now, these plants need a continuous supply of good, clean water. They don't have any pseudobulbs for storing moisture, so all the moisture that it can have, or the nutrients, are stored in the leaves. And they also like a very high humidity. Now, if you're experiencing discoloration on the leaves, a few spots here and there, then that may be caused by light, giving them too much. Now, these plants are a little bit delicate as to the condition of the water they're receiving, because they don't adapt well to chlorine in the water or salts in the medium. So feed them lightly and flush as often as you can. I mean, they could, after you've fed these, the day after, or you could flush them every day for a week, and it can only do them so good. Anyhow, that's about all I can tell you about these plants. It's all I can remember. So let's take this one out of its pot and have a look at the roots. And I'm repotting it because it's been in a type of moss since I got it, and it must be, what, 8-9 months ago now, even longer than that. So we'll have a look, see if there's any roots, because there's none showing at the sides. Well, we'll just take the hangers off. And then try and get this out of the pot. I'll put the label there. It was quite damp. Well, yeah, because I water them every day. It's got some new growths on this, so I'm not hoping the roots are too bad. They're quite firm in the pot, so I better start lifting the moss out. There we are. Well, I'm not over enamoured by the roots at all. So evidently they don't like this moss much. So I've got some New Zealand sphagnum moss. There's the roots on that one. Yeah, I had expected better roots than that, but we'll repot it in, that's been just moss, a type of moss anyhow, an English moss, but I've got some New Zealand moss and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of medium-sized bark, about 9mm, and some perlite that I can get. Now the perlite I can get here is not like the sponge rock you can get in America. I mean, we used to be able to get it here, but no longer. I mean, the sponge rock is a lovely size, but our perlite we get is so small, and it varies from what, 2mm up to about 5mm, something like that. So I'll try and sift some of that stuff out and see if I can get some of the bigger type of perlite. Yeah, this is the moss I've taken out of it, and it's very, very fine, a lot finer than the New Zealand, as you can see. So I'm just wondering why the roots haven't developed so well. Could it be this has been a little bit too compact and cutting the air away from the roots? Because these plants, they do need a lot of air and a lot of water. So that might be the cause. So I'm hoping they'll be better in this New Zealand sphagnum moss. Well, I've been sifting this perlite for the last 5 minutes, and this is about the largest pieces of perlite I can get now. And they're only, you can see the size of the hand, that's as big as I can get. So that'll have to do. So I'll mix this with the bark and the sphagnum moss. Right, I'll put some of this perlite in. Put that on one side for later, for the next one. And then mix some bark in. And I think this will be much better, a much better medium. I mean, the ideal thing to keep them in is these open mesh baskets you can buy. So I make my own by cutting these up, you see, putting holes in. Right, what we'll do, we'll put a bit of that in the bottom. Not press it down too much, because we don't want to cut off the air, do we? Right, because there's not much I can stuff into that plant, so we'll just have to wrap some around the bottom, plenty on, right around the sides. Oops. Put it in the pot. Get some more. Just make sure it's nice and full. And I think that will be much, much better. So anybody who doesn't know what sort of plant it is, or they can't understand my accent, there we are. Dracula solii. Have a look on the web for them. They're absolutely gorgeous. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just have a look at the next one, because this was planted in I think it was just in bark. Here we are. And this is a Dracula woolwardii. Show you the label again. There we are. Lovely plant. I think I got this from Grobrochner before we had the lockdowns. You know, we couldn't buy from Europe. Can't get this out. Come on. There we are. Right, we'll take this out of its pot and have a look at it. There's 2 new growths there, so it can't be that bad, I don't think. But I think this bark only will be keeping it too dry. Well, this has got a better root system on it. We'll get all the moss off, and as much as we can. Some of the roots are stuck to the bark, but we can leave that there like that. But that's quite a nice plant, isn't it? Just get the camera. Yeah, the roots aren't too bad on this one. I would like them a little better, but there's 2 nice new growths there. One there, one there, another one coming up here. I keep moving the camera, I'm looking with my eyes and not the camera. But that's not looking too bad, I don't think. And the leaves are absolutely gorgeous. Dracula woolwardii. So I'll get that potted up like I did the last one. Yeah, and I'll change the pot on this one from this one rather flimsy one down to a more solid and stable pot. Well, there are the 2 plants repotted, so they should be all right for at least another 12 months in there, and looking very nice. I'm not hanging them high up in the rafters here, it's too light for them on a day like this. So I'm putting them now underneath the benches, hanging them underneath the benches. Right, there they both are, hanging underneath the benches. It's light enough for them there. In fact, looking at the camera, it's a lot lighter looking at them now like this than it is in reality. It's quite shady under the benches, as you can imagine. Anyhow, just a couple of nice things to show you. Instead of having 1 flower on, there's 2. Now this is the Cavacii hybrid with Sargentianum, and it's a first flowering off this division, and doesn't it look absolutely better with 2 flowers rather than just the 1. Absolutely lovely. Love that plant. But they're a bit big for me, so I'm going to get rid of them. This is the one that's been promised to our ex-president. And it looks like I can safely say there'll be two blooms on this cardinale, because that's going to open up tomorrow, and that'll stay for another couple of days or so, I think. Anyhow, I'd like to thank you for having a look at the video. I'd like to thank all my subscribers, and hope everybody's keeping well and keeping away from the COVID. Hope you're all getting your jabs in time. We're not doing so bad over here, we're doing quite well. So thank you very much again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.